We Indians might be divided by a bazillion different things out there. But if there is one thing that is able to unite every heart, mind, and soul in our country, it has always been the game of cricket. Whether that person even worked hard enough to get into a job interview or to write that exam well by waking up at like 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. and preparing, well, he has always woken up to watch a game of cricket with his favorite players like Sunil Gavaskar, Sachin Tendulkar, or Virat Kohli. This country, under God's green earth, absolutely loves the shit about cricket. And for good reason. We have been eating well, and we have seen so many legends of the game come and make our country really, really proud for decades. So that is why it is doubly or triply disappointing to see the current state of affairs of Indian Test cricket. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is dog shit. It is the biggest piece of dog shit that I've ever seen. The BGT trophy, which was the last test match, BGT stands for Border Gavaskar Trophy. So it's a test match series, a 5 match test match series, which is held in Australia, right? So we went and played there. And do you know what the result was? We got our asses handed to us 1-3. It was horrible. And the likes of which we usually dominate in the BGT. So we have never lost in such a manner. And forgetting about the BGT for a minute, the last 8 test matches, we have lost 6 out of our last 8, which includes a extremely prestigious whitewash in our own country by New Zealand 3-0. So, test match cricket has been incredibly upsetting recently. But, okay, you win some, you lose some, am I right? But now, if I really want to talk about what really upsets me, it is the performance of some of our greatest players, really. And they're all legends because they have earned it. I won't get into why they're legends because that'll become like a 20-minute video. But yeah, they are legends for a reason because they are amazing at the game and they're great at the game. But recently, they have been playing like a steaming pile of dung. Virat Kohli scored 190 runs, which, so doesn't sound so bad, right? He scored 190 runs in 5 test matches. Sounds good, right? But hear me out. Each test match is played for 5 days, and you get around 4 or 5 chances to bat. And he scored 190. He scored 100 in like one innings, and then 90 in the rest 15. It is horrible seeing a legend of the game laid low like that. Rohit Sharma? Well, even worse. Why did you even ask me? Rohit Sharma was 31 runs in the 3 test matches that he played. We got our asses handed to us like we have never seen before. And it is still alright. Wow, you know what? Fine. Forget it. It's okay. But what was really so frustrating to see is Virat Kohli getting out the same way over and over again. So imagine I'm Virat Kohli, right? I'm not Virat Kohli, but I'm not as handsome anywhere nearly. But imagine I am, right? So I'm holding the bat here, so I'm holding it like this. So the ball comes on my batting side and I nick it and get out. So if the ball touches my bat and goes to somebody and they catch it, I'm out, right? That's the rules of cricket. So I hit the ball and I got out. 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 Imagine that like 5 or 6 more times. That was Virat Kohli in the Border Gavaskar Trophy. It was unbelievable to watch. I don't know, I'm not seeing gully cricket children getting out that many times in the same way. It was horrendous. It was a bloodbath. Because I have so much expectations out of Virat Kohli. He's a legend of the game. And seeing him get out 10 times in the same way, killed something in me. And I'm pretty sure for the rest of India as well. But, okay, at least pick different ways to get out. I'm not asking for much. Get out. I mean, if it's not your day, it's not your day. If it's not your series, it's definitely not your series. But at least pick and choose like a buffet of what ways you want to get out. Don't get out the same way. It is very sad to watch because anybody would be able to, correct themselves, right? And not to talk about the unnecessary aggression that he was showing. So there was this young Australian kid called Sam Constas, right? I think this kid has like idolized him, his whole life. And whenever he was asked in like interviews, who's your favorite player, he's like, oh, Virat Kohli and all that. So he played with Virat, and I don't know where that frustration even came from for Virat. He just like walked all the way to him on the pitch. So he was like shining the ball or something, right? He walked like purposefully diagonally like this to him and rubbed his shoulders like this. He got physical with Sam Constas. And then he's like, oh, what, why are you brushing in with me? So it was really sad to see. And well, he had to pay with his match fee. But for Virat Kohli, he would have earned that in a breath. In a second, he would have earned that back. So that doesn't really punish him. But yeah, well, whatever. It is sad to see Virat's aggression when he's not playing well. Yeah. I mean, did you notice how I said it? When he's not playing well. He has always been kind of a bully and aggressive. But he is like that. He'll throw insults at you and then he'll knock you out of the park. What can you say? He will insult you and destroy you with both his mouth and his bat, right? So it was very good before, but now it is just disappointing to see. And we should never get physical in the game of cricket. We call cricket the gentleman's game, and that's for a reason, right? Only gentlemen play it. So I totally agree that still Australians aren't God's chosen angels, right? I totally get it why you gotta be aggressive sometimes. But show it with the bat and the ball. Don't yap. Right? If they yap, well, whoa, good for them. But don't yap. Show it with your bat. Show it with your ball. And get shit done. Like win matches. And shut them up. What are they going to do? Right? So that mindset change needs to be there. And you know what it really reminds me of? It reminds me of when Sachin Tendulkar was playing. And he went through the same thing. He was getting out continuously by playing on his batting side and nicking the ball, like how I was telling for Virat. You know what the absolute Giga Chad did? And that's why he's known as the god of cricket, and I totally agree. He just stopped playing that side. Such a simple fix, right? You'd think it's so simple, but yeah, Virat couldn't do that, but Sachin just left it. And he played every ball on the other side, like whatever came in the middle and on the left, he kept playing that. And you'd think, okay, maybe he still got out. No. That match, he scored 241 runs. That test match. Just by that simple change. What a legend, man. He truly is a god. But basically, ladies and gentlemen, this is a crisis which is happening in transition. Right? You know, we have all gone through puberty. And I think we all remember the crisis we had to go through. Because we were transitioning from kiddie stuff to like adulthood, right? And we had to all go through like immense problems and mood swings and shouting at our parents and getting our asses beaten because of what we had to go through. It was basically a crisis in transition. Well, it seems like our Indian test team just hit puberty, ladies and gentlemen, and they really need to transition properly into a fine young man or unit or team. Yeah. Well, anyway. So, also one more point I wanted to talk about was the horrible dependence on Bumrah. And just horrible dependence on anyone who plays well, really. In general. So, Bumrah comes, and our bowling is much better than our batting at the moment. I just really want to say that. I think Siraj is fantastic. Bumrah is great. There are so many other bowlers. They're all good, right? But there is such over-dependence on Bumrah. They keep spamming Bumrah. And you know what happens when you keep spamming sportsmen? They get injured. Pretty natural, right? And I've been seeing this cycle. They spam Bumrah. He gets injured. Shami comes back. They spam Shami. Shami gets injured. Bumrah comes back. They spam the shit out of Bumrah again. Then it's an eternal loop. that we are seeing. At least that's what I could notice. It has been horrible that we really need to stop. But to crack down on this, and it's not like no one has noticed, the BCCI has launched its own 10 commandments. I think there are more than 10 or less than 10, but yeah, for biblical effect, let me call it the 10 commandments. But I won't go through all of them because this will be like a huge video then, and it's already longer than I wanted it to be because I yap a lot. Sorry about that. But basically, the major thing that BCCI wanted to enforce is that our players start playing domestic cricket. So there is something in India where if you become a huge star or a godlike player, you don't need to ever play domestic cricket. They never play domestic cricket. They just play international cricket and keep international cricket like a test ground for themselves. Whereas in the rest of the world, people go play domestic cricket, iron out their problems if they have a form problem or any fitness issue or whatever it is, iron it out there and then come and blow up in international matches. They do a great job in international matches. That, however, was not happening here. And it really needed like a desperate change for Indian cricket at least. So they have enforced that. And so because they were enforced, Rohit had to play and Kohli had to play, right? So Rohit went back to Mumbai, right? He's playing for Mumbai. He played Ranji. Guess how much he scored? 3 and 26 in domestic cricket for a legend like him. Oh man, I'm gonna faint. It is horrible. That too against Jammu and Kashmir. Yeah, they did horrendously against them. Virat just went back to Delhi right now. He was in the first match today, he was fielding. And man, I'll get into it a little while later, but the stardom and the godhood and the aura that these people have is so larger than life. Virat went back to play to Delhi. Suddenly everyone's covering the Ranji Trophy, our domestic cricket. Suddenly everyone's looking at Virat. The stadiums are packed. Before, no one gave a flying fuck about the Ranji or domestic cricket. But now Virat is there, and so everyone wants to watch it now. It is crazy what just one man aura or one man's reputation, if he goes back into something, he carries everyone with him. Actually, that needs to stop. But I digress. I'll get back into that later. But you know how these cricketers are treating this entire commandment, this Ranji commandment especially, that, go back and play domestic cricket, as a punishment. It's being seen as a punishment, which is actually very, very bad and in a poor way to take it, because it makes a lot of logical sense to go back and iron out all your issues, right, in domestic cricket and not keep international cricket as a test ground or playground for your issues. But yeah, it's being seen as a punishment. There's an upcoming Mumbai Ranji match, which is crucial and it's a must win. And you know who's not playing? Rohit is not playing. Jaiswal isn't playing. There are so many others who aren't playing this. Iyer isn't playing. None of them are playing. Why, you ask me? They're seeing it as a punishment. They think they're too cool, maybe, for domestic cricket. And that really only hurts them, to be honest, right? Because they need to iron out their differences while they are in domestic cricket. But you know what? I spoke enough about players' issues and players' problems. It is also the coach's responsibility. There were failures in selections and strategies and tactics, which I won't really get too much into because it's already like 13 minutes at this point, maybe 14 minutes. So I'll start wrapping it up. But yeah, it is a failure from all sides. And just a few concluding points that I like to make. Over glorification and superheroism of our cricketers is not going to help anyone. There, I said it. Please don't come after me in the comments. I'm sorry, but someone had to say it. We worship them like gods and support them through anything, and it should be like that. I mean, they are legends and they're great and they're good people, and a nation needs to stick with its players even if they're not so great at the moment, right? Even if it's not so great, even if they're not playing so well. But there is a limit, and we need to stop worshipping them like gods and bring them back to reality and help them get their game back on track. You get me, right? Because once you start idolizing someone or making a god out of them or a hero out of them, criticism becomes impossible. And they start getting this godlike complex, and you can't criticize them, and it is just terrible all around. Because without criticism, no one improves. We get criticism everywhere across the board. Like, for example, I'll just give you an example. Sunil Gavaskar, right? He's been very critical of the Indian team's performance and Rohit's performance in particular, right? Rohit has filed a formal complaint with the BCCI about his remarks and that they're unfounded. I think that's trash. Sunil is a legend of the game by his own right. He has the right. If an Indian cricketer, a legendary cricketer, doesn't have the right to talk about his own country's cricket and his own country's players, who's going to talk about it then? You're going to get more butthurt when the Australian media comes after your ass. Like, really, it's going to be that way. So don't let that happen. Just take it from Sunil. Constructive criticism is always good and it helps people out. Like, there is no profession on earth where there is no constructive criticism. There is no profession. Like, heck, I'm making this video. If you didn't like some shit I'm doing, leave it down in the comments. Like, hell, I want to read those. Like, come on, let's not kid ourselves. We get better because of criticism. But of course, by no means I am like, make personal attacks. Chase after him like a dog, right? No, that's not the way. There should be gentlemanliness even in the way you criticize someone. You gotta tell it nicely and you gotta tell it in a way that they understand and in the way that they appreciate it. And you gotta put it that way. But if you're still doing that and someone doesn't like it, then there is nothing you can do about it, right? But yeah, Indian players, no matter how legendary, are prone to mistakes and criticism. And they got to take it in the shoulder. Look, you're senior players. You're not youngins. You're not kids. You're not babies, toddlers in cricket. You're senior players. You're mature players. Take it maturely. Take the criticism nicely. Like, oh, these guys are telling me because I need to improve. Let's improve. Let's do it. That's the attitude. Don't go and cry to Daddy BCCI that, some guy called Sunil Gavaskar is picking on you. Don't be a baby. Face it. And take action accordingly. But yeah, anyway, I am still wishing the best as a upright Indian, right? As an upright and loving Indian fan for cricket. I really wish them the best and I hope all this shit turns around and everything goes well. Well, that's all I had for today's, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I ranted a little, but yeah, it's been that, it's in my Indian genetics to not like something. If cricket is in trouble, I need to get it out. So yeah, blame my Indian genes for that. But yeah, it has been fun talking about this, y'all. And that's all I had for today. Leave a like in the comment, leave a like below, comment below, just interact with me, talk with me. It has been a wild ride so far. I'm really enjoying this YouTube thing. So yeah, I think I'll see you guys in the next one. TVP signing off.